I'm here again with my good friend Mike Simpson from Idaho. We are both on the Interior Appropriations Subcommittee. He's the subcommittee chair, I'm his vice chair, and I thought this week you would enjoy hearing a little bit about the continuing resolution we just passed, why it's important. I apologize, I woke up this morning with a sore throat and a really soft voice. It's coming back, but it's not all the way, so I'm gonna make Mike do most of the talking.
Okay, I'll be happy to do that. What is the CR? It's called a continuing resolution, and what it does is when we don't get our work done between the House and the Senate, between Republicans and Democrats to come up with a budget for next year or the appropriations for next year, instead of having the government shut down, we pass what's called a continuing resolution, which allows government to operate at its current funding level until we get our job done, actually. This time it's a funding, CR that lasts till the end of this fiscal year, which is September 30th. It was necessary to pass it because if we didn't, this Friday, the government was going to shut down. And shutting down the government is never good policy and it's never good politics. This CR, I think it was written by Republicans, it was highly partisan. I think we had one Democrat that voted with us on it and one Republican that voted with the Democrats on it. So it was a pretty partisan vote on it, but it was absolutely necessary. It had things in it. When you do a CR, there are what are called anomalies that you have to put in the bill to fund things that should be funded, that need to be funded or continued. And so we have some like in Interior. We made permanent the wildfire fighter pay increase that we've been doing on a one-year basis for the last couple of years. But in order to retain these wildfires and recruit these wildfire fighters, we needed to make it permanent so that they had some certainty. So we made that permanent in this bill. We also made sure that we fully funded the PILT payments, which are vitally important to western states like Utah and Idaho that have large amounts of public lands. That's vitally important to our counties and our school districts. And so we made sure that that was fully funded. And a couple of other little anomalies, but I'll bet one of the things that was really interesting in here is that in the defense part of this bill, we funded the military pay for our junior officers, 17% increase, first time in 40 years that's been done. If you can believe it, we have young people joining the military, maybe they're married with a child, they're on food stamps.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah, and recruitment's up right now.
Yep.
So we need to take care of them so that we can keep our recruits in the military. Are you okay if we go through some of the myth and fact of what's in this bill? Because I'm sure you've heard it, I've heard it. There's some really bad messaging out there about the continuing resolution, and I've been asked a lot already.
Yeah.
Is it really a clean CR? Didn't it cut a bunch of important programs? Since I'm the one who has a small voice right now, what if I tell you some of the myths and you respond with the facts?
You bet.
Is that okay?
You bet.
Okay, I have a list. Myth, this CR hurts veterans.
This CR does not hurt veterans. It increases veterans care by $6 billion to make sure we take care of those people and keep the promises we made to our veterans that have served us in the military. So it does not hurt veterans at all, zero. In fact, it helps veterans.
Yeah, and people seem to be concerned about the fund for the burn pits, and that's where the increases are.
Yeah.
To make sure people who are exposed to toxins are cared for. Okay, next myth, CR harms national security in the military. You kind of already addressed this.
Yeah, the CR, without the CR, if you'd shut down the government, it would have substantially hurt our military. It cost us, I think Ken Calvert, who's chairman of the Defense Committee, said it costs about $1 billion a month to operate on just the CR without doing our appropriation bill. So really in this CR, we did some things to make sure that the military had the increases that are necessary, as I said, in the military pay, shipbuilding, other things that are very, very important. So the military's budget actually went up about $13 billion.
Yeah, and it's important to understand CRs are particularly hard on the Department of Defense,
Yeah.
and we have work to do to update our military. So that's why we have anomalies,
Yep.
so we can allow them to do the work they need to do, but this doesn't harm the military. Okay, last myth, the CR is full of Elon Musk's Doge priorities.
Nothing from Elon Musk is in this bill. Those things are other, you may see some of them in a reconciliation bill or something, but nothing from Elon Musk is in this bill. This doesn't cut anything. And what I find interesting as I sat through this debate yesterday, I was listening to our colleagues on the other side of the aisle criticize it and everything. I actually sat there and looked at the bill and said, are we debating the same bill? Because they were talking about it's going to cut military, it's going to cut Social Security, it's going to cut Medicare, it's going to cut Medicaid. There is nothing in this bill that touches Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid, or any of the things that they were talking about. So I found it kind of strange as a debate.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter of DOGE and of cutting government inefficiencies and getting rid of duplicative government, but this bill doesn't actually do that. It is a continuation of last year's budget to keep the government funded, and it gives Republicans time to start putting into place the priorities we got elected on. So hopefully the Senate will pass it this weekend.
I think they'll pass it sometime this weekend.
Great.
But I should say, neither Celeste or I or anybody on the Appropriation Committee likes CRs. We like to do our job. But that means having the time on the floor to take our bills there and debate them and have people offer amendments. That takes a lot of floor time, and we've been very active in telling the Speaker that this needs to happen if he wants to get back to what we call a regular order.
Yeah, and I participated in the leadership press conference yesterday with our colleague, who's also an appropriator, Andy Harris, who's the head of the House Freedom Caucus, and I'm going to quote him. He said in that press conference, "This isn't your grandfather's CR." Even the Freedom Caucus supported this one because of how it was done and because it's done in the context of an administration that's serious about getting government spending under control. So with that, I think we've answered most of the questions.
Okay.
Thank you for doing this.
You bet. Thank you, Celeste.